This may just be the best and the most effective political ad that I've ever seen. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate, Nicole Shanahan, a Silicon Valley lawyer and investor, just basically destroyed the Harris-Walz campaign by sharing this parody of pharmaceutical ads warning voters about Trump derangement syndrome. Now you gotta see it for yourself, guys. Check this out.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
and I instantly believed it. With independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Like the ad said, guys, independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking. And I agree. Independence really is the most effective dose for TDS. I guess the only sad thing about this is that some of the people in our life might not be ready for it. Now, I've definitely heard some independent thinkers say how their family members hate them now because they're voting for Donald Trump, and that they're a horrible person because they want to save our country. You guys ever get that feeling? Ever get shamed by your immediate family members or friends for thinking for yourself and actually believing in Trump? Y'all let me know if you feel that way. By the way, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. We're trying to get to 600,000 subscribers. Every sub helps. Appreciate you guys. Now me, I just can't believe how much hate the Democratic Party brings to this world now. I just don't have any words anymore. No wonder I hear more and more about people being Democrats until they woke up to the truth right in front of our face. I mean, just look at the Democratic presidential candidate debating herself.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Vice President Kamala Harris recently had her first sit-down interview with CNN finally, if you can even call it a sit-down interview. And Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance is already warning Americans not to buy it as critics accuse her of flip-flopping on key issues. You guys have seen it. For Vance, she's basically just trying to pretend that she's not the far left now because, of course, she wants to win the American people's votes over the next couple of months. But if she does, well, she's just going to do the same thing that she's been doing for the last few years, and more of it. Not to mention that this highly anticipated sit down with CNN marks the very first interview Harris had in like 39 days when she became the presumptive nominee. Now, before this, Harris has basically avoided the media since ascending the Democratic ticket, and she's only rarely answered media questions while on the campaign trail and hasn't held a press conference since either. But finally, Harris sat down with CNN's Dana Bash for a pre-taped, edited, trimmed up interview that aired alongside her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. So guys, during this interview, she told Dana Bash that her values have not changed. Can she just boldly lie to the American people's faces any more abruptly like that? Now, this despite critics quoting her flip-flops on several notable issues, guys. As JD Vance has already pointed out, if you have the same values, then why have you changed your mind on literally every topic that you previously held an opinion on? But CNN didn't exactly grill her or even question her on the topic. According to JD Vance, she answered one question about how she changed her mind. And in his evaluation, it was a bit of a word salad and it really didn't actually give Americans any insight into who Kamala Harris really is. Bottom line, guys, according to JD Vance, she should have to sit and answer tough questions about why she changed her mind. Because honestly, the press has just been handling the Walz-Harris ticket with kid gloves. Now, as JD Vance said, the media is just so desperate to let her get away with this. They're not even pushing her on the fact that she has changed her mind, allegedly on 8 different topics. And he makes a very good point too. She is the sitting vice president of the United States. If she's changed her mind, why doesn't she just enact these policies now and make the American people feel better off? Vance's theory? Well, she doesn't even believe it, which is exactly why you're not seeing it in what she's doing. He even said he felt a little bit bad for her because it was very clear that she was just totally sure-footed and she didn't totally know why she was actually saying the things that she was saying, meaning she's basically been coached to pretend to be a moderate. But that doesn't take away from the fact that she's governed as a San Francisco liberal, and because of it, Americans are poor, the world is more chaotic, and our border is wide open. Vance's conclusion, we gotta take this country in a new direction, which is exactly why we've got to elect Donald Trump. It's not hard to see. Love it or hate him, at the end of the day, guys, we were better off when Donald Trump was in office. Today, criminals have more rights than victims, and the United States citizens are last in line for any kind of help. You just have to open your eyes and realize how much mainstream media has been misleading you from the facts. Everybody should do their own research and see what aligns more with their own values and their own beliefs. Am I right, guys? I mean, this is why we're here, right? We're building our own community of truth here, right here on YouTube, to report on the things that mainstream media tries to gloss over. Anyway, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell right after, and if you guys want more content like this, definitely make sure your notification bells turn on. It's totally free. So anyway, let's get back to this one. But more about Harris's sit-down interview with CNN. In fact, I have my top 3 highlights right here, guys. So I wanted to do kind of like a top 5, but going through all that word salad, I could really only come up with like 4, which speaks on a lot of what critics say about Harris's campaign and its lack of substance. You know what I mean? All right, so first, Harris is not really hitting the mark when asked about her plans for day one. She was actually asked twice about her day one agenda, but both times she gave these overarching answers instead of responding with a specific executive order or directive. She said, first and foremost, one of her highest priorities is to do what we can do to support and strengthen the middle class. She said that people are ready for a new way forward in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. Now again, isn't she the vice president of the current administration? Couldn't she just start this new way forward like now? But again, typical Harris, she just went off again on Donald Trump, saying how we've had in the former president someone who has actually been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation. She said people are ready to turn the page on that. But again, she's had almost 4 years to do what she's talking about. And you gotta wonder, how long is it actually going to take for her to turn this freaking page? You know what I mean? After that, CNN's Dana Bash had to repeat the question, so what would you do day one? Now again, Harris gave this word salad answer of an opportunity, bringing down the cost of everyday goods, investing in America's small businesses, investing in families, ROI. Sure, you know the drill. She brought up extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of the child's life, but extending the child tax credit, though it differs slightly, was first a policy announcement by the Trump campaign. My next highlight is one of the issues that Harris has been caught flip-flopping on, fracking. So the vice president says that she made her position very clear on allowing fracking in 2020, except it just wasn't hers. She said that she made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that she would not ban fracking. As vice president, she did not ban fracking. As president, she will not ban fracking. But you guys see, before Harris dropped her bid for president in 2019 and joined President Joe Biden's ticket, she said during a CNN town hall, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking on her first day in office. Kamala Harris was asked again about fracking during her 2020 vice presidential debate against then Vice President Mike Pence, but did not reveal her position on fracking, instead saying that Joe Biden will not end fracking. He's been very clear about that. Then there was her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Tim Walz, trying to blame his grammar when asked about his prior comments that he wants to ban guns like the ones that he carried in war, even though he never saw combat during his time in the Army National Guard. Now, Dana Bash again asked if he misspoke, and that's when Walz admitted that he did and then tried to blame the whole thing on his grammar. Very weak, Mr. Walz. Very weak, Tim. He said that in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. Sure, ain't nobody buying that. Everyone knows Tim Walz is a liar. Stolen valor and all. And he said that his wife, the English teacher, told him his grammar is not always correct. So now you're gonna blame it on your wife. What a weak dude. Then he quickly tried to change the subject by basically saying how he's being attacked for his children, his dog. Walz said that he's not gonna do that. And the one thing that he'll never do is he'll never demean another member's service in any way. He says he never has and never will. Now again, did we get a clear answer to the question? No. These guys are very good at doing this. They're very good at diverting away from questions that they can't answer. Plus, you can just compare the very same interviewer, Dana Bash, in this interview with Harris and Walz to when she was interviewing Donald Trump's running mate, JD Vance. I mean, you could just see the clear bias in the mainstream media. Like I've been saying, guys, this could be the most important presidential election of our lives, so we gotta pay attention. Now, watching this video, it's already a great step. My next recommendation? You definitely have to check out our other videos on this channel. Now, I really do my best to update our community on what's happening in America and in this election. I recommend checking out our other video showing the new election models putting Donald Trump ahead of Kamala Harris. That's right, guys. Now, these polls are the ones that we should be following, guys. So definitely check that out right after this one, okay? Now, before you go, guys, I just want to know, what did you guys think about our topic today? Did those Kamala Harris answers satisfy your questions about her campaign? Just let me know a quick yes or no in the comments down below. Anyway, thank you so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.